Hey again, back to talking about the Enneagram, the 9 personality types. I just had my breakfast break and I'm back. I think we were up to type 5. Type 5 is the investigator or the really cerebral type. Oops, I got my wrong. I mean, not wrong, but my other paper up. So type 5 is the investigator. So that's someone who is a little bit like the kind of person that could forget to have lunch because they're so into like their computer programming uh, thing, work or game, somebody who could just really get lost. Like I remember I used to work for a guy, I used to paint this guy's house who said, I was talking about chess and how much I liked chess at the time. And he was like, I can't play chess anymore. I get lost in it for hours, it's like too much for his mind. And so that's a little bit of like the archetype of the 5, just a really cerebral, really thinking type. But of course they could be too detached from their emotions, too in their head, but they could be very sharp and smart. Type 6 is the loyalist. So that's someone who is very committed to being loyal to their society, to the people around them. And 6s are very dependable, very hardworking, but they could become like kind of masochistic and kind of feel paranoid and afraid, dependent on the system or on the work that they're in. Type 7 is the enthusiast. This is someone who gets really excited about different things. They could have addictive personalities. They could be a little shallow in some ways, not wanting to look at the dark side of things, just stay optimistic and really savor the juice of life. But of course, there could be some unsustainable qualities in that as well. 8 is the challenger. That's somebody with like a lot of self-confidence, and they're not afraid of conflict, to say the least. They're someone who's just willing to stand up for what they believe in and protect those around them. But they could be very domineering, And then type 9s is the peacemaker. That's someone who's like, yeah, I just want to, if they're out with a group, like, where do you guys want to go for dinner? They'll be like, oh, wherever you guys want, y'all decide. They're good with going with the flow, but sometimes they could live in a fantasy world, like not really be, like, for example, like the the archetype of like a woman who's in an abusive relationship, but she's like, oh, Danny really loves me though, like I don't think it'll happen again, like a lot of times they delude themselves that they're in a healthy situation when they're not. So again, these are the basics of the 9 types, and and each type, the more we become aware of our patterns, of our particular personality construct, then the more we're able to become more healthy. First in the light of awareness, then with like an openness and an acceptance, like, okay, that's part of who I am, or that's part of how that person operates, and then we could come to understand ourselves and come to understand that person a little better and on a deeper level. So I hope you like this video. There'll be more on the Enneagram. Please leave a question or a comment below if you'd like to learn more, or if you have any specific things you wanted to check in about. All right. And again, it's Jaya Totality at YouTube. Thanks for liking and subscribing. Peace.